Hey guys, this is Eli doing the commentary for the puppet video of Mordecai's thoughts on Seinfeld and Superman. Now, how this all began was, I had this idea for quite a while of, doing these videos with, Mordecai giving his thoughts, on some stuff, etc., and, and I can't remember where I got the idea of doing this, for it being the first one, with those episodes with Jerry Seinfeld and Superman. At some point it did came to me, and I thought, this would be perfect for the first one, because my actual thoughts on Seinfeld and Superman, because I don't know. I remember seeing these a long time ago, like back when I used to watch YouTube, say, on a laptop or something, I remember seeing these, and, at that time I didn't really remember that much on them until I'd seen them once again, and, I don't know what to say to them. They're quite interesting, I will say, and, because, hey, this all started with an American Express, commercial, with Jerry Seinfeld and Superman. Actually, this opening scene right here, originally, because, Steve is mentioned, in the final version, it's mentioned that Steve went to the bathroom, but actually, originally, Steve was supposed to be in this scene. He was at the table, and he was actually eating a bowl of cereal, because, he was basically eating breakfast while it was just, while Gorgon and Butler were just playing the card game, so, but I ran out of time, and I didn't really have time to film the shots with Steve, so I just improvised. And when I was recording Butler and Gorgon's lines, I improvised in saying that he went to the bathroom, and actually, because when I was filming the shots with the Butler and Gorgon, it was I was saying that I was saying it, me playing the Butler, that he was pointing at Steve he was supposed to be there, but, you get the idea. And Spider-Man's appearance in this, well, because why not, and have another superhero be in there, and why not for it being Spider-Man, because you guys, seem to like Spider-Man, me as Spider-Man, and because I look good in the costume. And actually, because that costume, if you guys remember, if you've been with the Little Blue channel, because I dressed up as Spider-Man for a couple of conventions, and everybody, when we were walking around and such, everybody got a good kick out of me dressed up as Spider-Man, so, I think maybe at one point this came into my head, but, of course it didn't come to be, maybe say Spider-Man wear a Superman cape, I don't know, but, that would have been funny, but, it's okay how it turned out in the final version. And you know what, because this was a lot of hard work, because, not the shots with Mordecai, but, but also because, it's takes a lot of hard work putting this all together, you know what I'm saying? Just, with Mordecai, and as well as, the shots with, from the actual episodes, the clips. And actually, the pictures, the posters, as you guys can see. Here's the thing, because, I use two editing apps for this. I use iMovie and Splice, Splice I use mostly for the clips, as well as putting in the audio and voice recordings of Mordecai, where he talks over the clips, you know what I'm saying? And same thing with inserting the posters, pictures, whatever, and the thing is, actually, because what was the inspiration for Mordecai's thoughts is, because Nostalgia Critic and JonTron, because, giving it that Nostalgia Critic and JonTron vibes, you know what I'm saying? Especially, I'm especially aiming for JonTron, I guess for one thing is, hey, Mordecai is sitting on a chair, and JonTron, he sits on a couch, so, yeah, because why not? And, you get the idea. Yeah, and yeah, I was actually, because when I was filming the shots with Mordecai, I actually had the two episodes playing. Like, I would watch them and I would think of what to say to them. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you guys something. These videos of Mordecai's thoughts, all of the puppet videos, they are unscripted. Okay, so yeah, so there you go. Yeah, this is like the second time because we have Jerry Seinfeld and Patrick Warburton doing something together and coming up because Mordecai mentions that they were in the B movie, because Jerry was Barry and Patrick was his character. I think his character's name was Ken. There's one thing, because I don't know why this has not been found. This is not on the internet, because I remember seeing this plain as day in the theaters, because there was like a teaser or just something where you had both Ken and Barry, and like Barry was by a microphone and Ken was in the recording booth, you know what I'm saying? Just he was saying something like, "Now, could you flap your wings so we can get out of here, stupid bee?" And even bringing up, even at the beginning, Ken says, "Hey Joe, any one of those cupcakes, etc." And when Barry flaps his wings, like, cause the pressure and with the wings and such, it causes Ken to go flying and crash into the wall, etc. And right before it ends, like, Barry says, "Any one of those cupcakes?" Just, I don't know why that's not on the internet, and for that matter, for it being on YouTube, because like that's I remember that plain as day, and I'm a bit disappointed that it's not on the internet anywhere. That's just weird, because I remember seeing it in theaters, as I said. But I do know, in fact, because I think some of us, we all remember like those teasers for the B movie where like Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock, they would be dressed up in like bug costumes, like, Jerry in a bee suit and Chris Rock in a mosquito suit, and they are hilarious, if you guys know what I'm talking about. I think even Steven Spielberg made an appearance in a couple of those, as well as Eddie Izzard. Yeah, because Eddie Izzard played the part of the director. Yeah, so, another thing is, because, like, I don't know, because for Mordecai, I was trying for Mordecai not to be anything like, say, JonTron, and especially the Nostalgia Critic, bleh. Because Mordecai, the Wacky Vampire, is Mordecai the Wacky Vampire, so that's what I'm trying to do, so, and hence he's called a Wacky Vampire, because, if you guys know Mordecai so well, like I do, just, and coming up here, this part with this guy who stole Jerry Seinfeld's DVD, a box set, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was showing this to my mom, the video that I was working on and such. She enjoyed it, but, she noticed that the guy who snatched the DVD box set, from Jerry Seinfeld, she thought he looked a lot like Simon Pegg. Yeah, this guy. I don't really think it's him. Even when I was working on this video and like watching these two episodes, it never came to me that he was he was Simon Pegg. I don't know. I don't even think that these episodes are even listed on IMDb. I don't know. Or if I'd look it up on Google, I really don't know. Yeah, and like, I don't know, like, I couldn't think of anything to say because there's one scene right after he threw it into Superman's chest, because, I could have done a joke, like, because, as he's being taken away by the police, Jerry Seinfeld catches up with Superman, I wondered, I don't know, maybe I could have done a joke saying Arkham Asylum or something, but I don't know, but, yeah, and some of the sound effects, like, okay, that sound right there, the dinging sound, that is the same ding sound like I've heard, like, say, in the Nostalgia Critic videos. Now, I could also, I also plan to use, like, say, the drum roll sound effect. I did use that before in one small puppet skit, in a quick second puppet video, because where the puppets, they're like, how do you get a tissue to dance? You put a little boogie in it, and it cuts to Gorgon with the drumsticks, and we hear that drum sound effect, And yeah, I of course plan to use it for these Mordecai's thoughts. This is kind of funny / weird because, seeing the Man of Steel hook up cables and such to the TV, even got a little bit of dirt or God, whatever it's called, on his face. And this part too, yeah. Yeah, I guess Mordecai has a point too, because Jerry Seinfeld's face right here, yeah, just, And this one, and the next one, episode 2, because later on, Mordecai brings this up because, expecting to see Damian Drake and Daffy Duck and the police guy and Sonic the Hedgehog out there. Well, don't you guys think, because there have been a couple of movies, the combination of live action and animation where, like, the main human character, the main live action character with a cartoon character, whatever, they're in a car together. They're out on the road. Do you guys realize that? There's been a couple, like, for example, Sonic the Hedgehog, Looney Tunes Back in Action. I'm pretty sure the movie Hop, with, from 2011, I think, yeah, it had that too, I'm pretty sure. Like, those are the only 3 I can think of. I'm probably forgetting a couple other things, but but this right here too, because with Seinfeld and Superman in a car, and as I said, this part right here, mentioning Sonic and Looney Tunes, because as to what I just said, so and this part right here, because that's another thing too, because speaking of which, because Mordecai mentions, they didn't show a scene, where Superman, they don't show a shot where the keys are left in the car, etc. I don't know why, because if it was in there, if there was a shot of that, then that would have gotten people just like, the audience going, oh boy, just, what I'm saying? But no, they didn't do that. And that scene right there with the woman, like, do you know Green Lantern? We've seen that kind of thing before, okay? There's no doubt about it. So, I remember seeing it, like, say, in iCarly, well, specifically Sam and Cat, one kid was saying to Sam, do you remember Gibby? You know what I'm talking about. We've seen that kind of stuff before, so, yeah, and I kind of find this weird because, like, this is me talking. Like, okay, all this that Mordecai's saying, it's all Mordecai the Wacky Vampire, okay? Not actually me. But this right here, because, I will admit, I find it weird because Seinfeld is telling Superman not to like, go back in time or, break off the car door, just... Why not? Because he's Superman, and for that matter, going back in time would be okay. But no, Seinfeld flat out disagrees on that. I don't know why, but Jerry Seinfeld, because like if I recall, because he is on the autism spectrum like myself. He's autistic. I'm pretty sure. For Seinfeld, like, okay, probably the only thing I've seen from him is just the B Movie. His sitcom, Seinfeld, I don't even think I've really watched it. I'm not really sure. But yeah, and it's just funny because, these, because with these episodes, mentioning, and I guess advertising American Express, you know what I'm saying? Jerry Seinfeld, he whips out the American Express card. You get the idea. Here's another thing: is there were only 2 episodes to this. I'm pretty sure, yeah. But I feel as though I saw an image of this on Google or something where you have Jerry Seinfeld and Superman. They're by a fence, while there are 2 dogs running around. One who's live action and one is Crypto the Super Dog. Yeah, I mean, I remember that. I just thought I'd mention that because I remember seeing something like that, and because with Seinfeld and Superman, um, yeah, and what Jerry Seinfeld mentions here about Superman lifting a car up and such. It's obvious because of what he's referencing to, coming up here. Yeah, because that image, if I recall, that was the first comic book published, of Superman, because of that car, that image, the best well known image of Superman. Um, but yeah, so uh, yeah, just again, everything is improvised. These puppet videos, and for that matter, Mordecai's thoughts, they are unscripted. Okay, for me, like, I can just think of what I can easily come up with what I'm gonna say, just, but I'm sure, there'd be times where I would actually write scripts. Yep, and mentioning the Seinfeld show. Um, yeah, and like, at the beginning and at the end of this, because, the pistachios. What is up with, what's with that, this, Superman and the pistachios, I don't know. Yeah, and that part right there where Superman, he accidentally breaks off the door. Yeah, and same thing with me because of what Mordecai just said. I actually forgot about that where, he breaks off the doorknob, the car doorknob, that is. And coming up here where, because mentioning William Shatner, Mario, Geddy Lee, and Dorothy the dinosaur. Well, okay, something like that. I've seen something like that done, obviously, like, say, JonTron, and especially the Nostalgia Critic, And I think I got a point here as well, and for Mordecai, actually, because, because hard to believe, seeing something like this. You have Jerry Seinfeld and Superman teaming up together, and where I bring up, say, Shatner and Mario, and Geddy Lee and Dorothy the dinosaur. I think it's pretty obvious, and it makes sense. And actually, this part right here, I was having just a bit of trouble trying to figure out, who alongside with Geddy Lee, and it just came to me, Dorothy the dinosaur. So, I think it makes sense. Let's face it, because Geddy, they're both in like bands. You know what I'm saying? And coming up here, the ending to this, because the one shot right here coming up where Mordecai throws the case with the disc. Yeah, that shot. That was done in one take. I thought I was probably going to do it maybe one or two times, but no, it turned out to come out pretty good. And actually, the actual disc is actually a burned. It's actually an episode of Unwrapped. From the Unwrapped show, the episode where they're at Disney. It's actually, my mom burned it on a disc, so I just used that case and put over it saying, something to do with Superman, if you get what I'm trying to say. And what Spider-Man says, that Mordecai and Spider-Man, they should do their own kind of video or something, just like with Seinfeld and Superman, The Adventures of Spider-Man Mordecai. You never know. Maybe I would probably do something like that. Hey, why not? For the fun of it. Maybe I should. Just, that'd be kind of funny. Mordecai being dragged into doing that, just, you get the idea. But this was really fun to do. I had a good time doing this, and I think you guys seem to have enjoyed it. So, yeah, this was a lot of fun, and it turned out pretty good when it was all finished. So, thank you guys for listening to this commentary of Mordecai's thoughts on Seinfeld and Superman. I hope you enjoyed, and, yep, thanks for watching.